Good morning, happy Monday. We're back at the farm today. Had a great weekend, hope you guys did too. I did accomplish a few things this weekend that didn't make a video, but that's okay. On Saturday, I was able to get up to our rain machine. I don't know if I think I've told you, but last week it was really hot and we've been having some trouble with that machine overheating and shutting down in the middle of the day. Like, it seems like it would run all night and then you'd get to 11 o'clock, and between 11 and 6 or 7 in the afternoon, it would only run for an hour or so and it would get too hot and shut down. I was fairly confident it was a radiator being dirty issue, because after the corn pollinated is kind of when it happened, and I figured we had a bunch of pollen in it. But you look at it and it didn't really look that bad, so wasn't sure. But I was able to get a tote of some water up there and a pump and hose the radiator out, and it ran all day yesterday just fine. So we got that fixed. That's good. And then yesterday, I started working on some of my boards, hanging stuff on the back porch there. So maybe when we're down there a little bit later, I'll show you. I got to go get some more screws, keep working on that project. But yeah, so this morning we are getting some propane tanks, and we're going to fill them up here. I got to get this man lift down to the seed warehouse. I think Brock's coming here later this morning, and we're going to try and get some steel hung up today. So that one we're filling for the fork, or for the man lift. That one's for my grill. Okay, I got my tanks filled and we put that one on here. The battery was dead on this. I'm gonna let it charge here for a little bit, but I did get it to start with the charger on. I don't know if it'll charge enough between me driving it down there to make it run all day like I want it to. So we're gonna let the charger sit here for a half hour or so, and we'll get this taken down there. This thing is awfully nice to have. It's very handy and convenient, but it's pretty rough. It's not in very good shape. All right, I'm getting ready to run this back down to the seed warehouse here. But before we go, I want to replace the sight gauge on one of our tanks here. They all three need it. Now, the far tank's not horrible, but I don't know if I have enough hose to do more than one of them. So we're going to start with this first one, because that is our 28 tank. That is the tank that is going to get filled, or could get filled soonest. Is now the right time to buy 28, guys? I got a reasonable price for what 28 is compared to, you know, what I'm hearing from other people, but it's stupid high compared to where it should be for grain markets and what we've paid in the past. So I'm debating whether we fill this tank up or not. I don't need it until we side dress or top dress wheat in March or April, and I'm gonna tie up 35-40 grand to fill that tank for 6 months. Is the price really gonna go up? I don't know. So you can see how this one's just cloudy. You really can't see the level through it very good, so we'll put a clear one on. The sun fades them, it just happens over time. Pretty sure this is the right size. I guess we're gonna find out. Anyway, it's just a hose clamp. As long as I don't drop this, we'll be fine. Okay, never mind. This is an inch hose. That's 3/4. I thought it was 3/4 up here, but nope, that's an inch fitting. So either I get a different hose barb fitting, stainless fitting, to go down to 3/4 inch so I can use this hose, or I gotta go buy some clear inch hose. Question is, do I put this one back up there and leave it for now in case I don't get back to it, or do I take it down and force myself to get it fixed? Good question. I think we're gonna leave it up here. It was a good thought. Those are all inch hose. Huh, how about that? I don't know why we need inch for a sight gauge, but it's fine. So what is that one for? Sprayer. The sprayer uses 3/4 inch on its sight gauge. That's a lot of sight gauges for the sprayer, though. All right. I got some 1/2 inch stuff. That ain't gonna work either, is it? Well, I got the boom lift just outside the door there. I got the rest of the insulation put up in this spot here. So we're ready to put steel up there. I'm waiting for Brock to get here. Yeah, it's gonna get hot in here real fast. So we're gonna try and get this one done and see how that goes. But when it's hot outside, it gets hot inside. It takes a little longer, but it does get hot, and then all the heat rises and goes up into that peak. So I'm gonna turn the fans on. That'll help, but it's not fun working up there in the summer. All right, we're making progress here. Okay, so we got the 5 sheets out that we're gonna put up in this section. Brock's here, and we measured, because we're pre-drilling all the holes. We can drill through all 5 sheets at once. So we got all the holes marked. He's gonna start drilling them while I get some tools and stuff around to hang them. Once we get this one section up, then I can finish my lights. We got 2 more lights to hang up here, and then we'll have this half basically done, which is awesome. We're not quite 2 years into this project yet. It's been a long one. It's gonna get way slower over here because we got all these door tracks and stuff to deal with, but it's all right. It's doing what I need it to do. Well, there's one. The next 3 go up easy because there's no trimming. You just take them up and screw them up there, and the holes are already drilled, so they go fast. And then the last one, we got to trim around those braces. Keep Brock from running into my fan. Huh?
I didn't think I was over that far. I didn't even move left and right.
We're on our last sheet here of this side. This whole side. That's good. This particular bay that we're in right here, we did it wrong. But we did it wrong on the bottom, so we had to do it wrong on the top too, and it looks like crap. The rest of them are much better. It's okay. Yeah, we definitely didn't get a couple of those seams to line up real good. Oh well, did the best we could. It'll be fine. Nobody will notice it in a month or two. If I would wipe that sheet off, nobody would notice the stuff over there either. So anyway, we're ready for the rest of the lights to go across there. So that's good. We've almost got this section ready. We need one piece of insulation up there in the peak yet. We got the 5 sheets out. Brock's going to start drilling holes for those. I don't know that we're going to hang them today. We might just wait till the morning when it's a little cooler. Yeah, it's a little progress. It looks half done. We were half done before because we had that one in the corner done, but now it looks half done, except for the lights. So, wow, it's cool. It's good. All right, let's work on this forklift a little bit. So, the other day we were doing some diagnostics on here, and we found a loose wire. I think this may be our problem. It may or may not, but it's... Oh, hey, I got Brock here. Brock, come here. Oh, we got to start. I already unplugged it. I was getting ready to work on it. We got to plug her back in. Get on the forklift. Let's see if we can see anything move. Okay, turn the key on. Something clicked up here. Okay, I want you to try and raise the mast. Ah, that's the relay. You see it move? Do it again. Now it's not working. Hold on. Try again. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's our problem. It's like a magnetic, and it makes contact there when he pushes on it. And there's a little micro switch under here that when you pull those, it activates that relay. So, okay, you can shut it off. Thank you. Okay, so now we think we know what our problem is. I turned off or unplugged the battery and made sure we don't have any power to anything. Now I gotta figure out what size wrench it is. It's not a 20. I don't think it's a 19. This is a 16. That's too small. 17 or 18. I brought them both. 17 it is. Well, that's the one that's tight. Don't do that one. This one. Okay, I'm gonna have to put you down. Well, I went a little farther with some disassembly here. So this is our stud that is loose. And you can see this plastic is kind of stripped out in there. I think I could tighten it up a little bit, but it just wants to spin in there. And it's kind of a little burnt there. Let's see, can I turn the flashlight on? There. So I'm gonna Google this and see if it's possible to get one. There's a tag right here, number, how much it costs, and whether or not it's worth trying to mess with or just buy one. Okay, time out on that project. The straw guys made it in here yesterday, got most of this baled up, and then they're in here today with the Baron making bundles. So that's good. I'm gonna have Brock hook up our sunflower chisel plow, which is in this thistle patch over here. Great. Why we're making Brock do it. Yeah, I want to work down some tile lines with it. So we're gonna hook it up to the 8R and get it checked out, make sure everything's good. We don't use that thing for much, but it's worth next to nothing to sell it. So we just keep it around for the little projects that we do with it. All right, we are back in here. I did find one of these, or found them online, about 150 bucks for this little solenoid here. So I think we're just gonna buy one. I'll get one coming and not worry about these dirty contactors. And it looks like it got hot and started to melt, and that's what made this stud loose. And so, yeah, It's not like I have to have it. We're not in our busy season. I've got another forklift right there. It can wait. So I ordered one. We'll get it coming. Hopefully get it put back together by the end of the week, and that's that. So, all right. It's not like 90 degrees hot out today, but it's plenty warm, and especially as you go up in this peak here, it's not real fun. So we've got steel ready to go up in the morning when it's cool. So we're going to do that first thing tomorrow, get that section done, and we'll see about this next one. We've got to take, that light down, take that fan down to get that up. We can probably do the bottom section without that. It's going to take a little longer, and I'd be feeling really good about that. So anyway, Brock is going to go put some more field signs up. I'm going to go jump in a tractor. He's got a few here to do yet, so. What? I don't know. In the bucket over there. You put it there, not me. Okay, let's go get in a tractor. We're going to jump in the big tractor today. We've got that disc hooked up yet, and I want to get the disc unhooked, but we've got a little spot that needs disc down before we unhook it. Oil looks good. So, we're going to go and do that. There's the double crop beans, actually looking like beans. There's something there, but we'll have to go look at them sometime, see if we got flowers or if they're going to actually make anything or not. But they're up above the wheat stubble, so they look nice. This is our target field. This is a bean field. Yeah, it's a bean field. There's a few beans growing, but not down here. So, we are right between a river. St. Joe River runs where those trees are. And a creek, Laird Creek, runs along that side where the little brush is. And it dumps into the river over there, and this field forms a triangle. Well, there was water here all spring. From the middle of March, or even earlier than that, until end of July, there was water in this low ground. And we at one point got some of it planted. It was relatively dry, and then we got another big rain. And even some of the beans that we did get planted drowned it out. A lot of this didn't get farmed, didn't get planted. Now there's a part of it that almost never gets farmed, planted, but much more than what is usually gets done. And I want to get this disc unhooked, but Phil and we kind of thought that we should work down some of this, the weeds and stuff that are here. Brock mowed it last week for us, which is nice, but they got some ruts, because when you're planting this and it's too wet and you try and turn through the stuff that's too wet to plant but not too wet to get stuck in, you make ruts and it gets rough. And so we're going to try and work it down. Plus, along the riverside over there, all the corn stalks washed up when it flooded, and so there's this thick mat of corn stalks, and we're going to try and break through that so stuff will dry out a little bit better next spring. All right, well, we're going to work through this. We're not going super deep. We're just kind of scratching it, moving enough dirt to level stuff off. Some of this here, we're not going to farm it. It's just going to be too wet next spring too. But a lot of that higher ground, kind of where the grass is different, the weeds are different than this grass, should get farmed. It does most every year. Just didn't this year, so we'll see how we do here. Some of this actually feels like it might be a little wet yet. So when I was a kid, maybe like 12, 13, 14, before I turned 16, I know that, I buried our 4955 right over there. Second pass off the road, pulling a field cultivator in the spring, buried it. Like that, spots like that. That's where all the corn stalks just kind of washed up and sat there. So I'm gonna work through them and spread them out, cut them up, mix them into some dirt, try and fix it. Well, we're just finishing this one up. That's a lot better than it was. It looks nice. There was a big pile of corn stalks over there that I showed you that I'm glad we got through that. And I went over it a couple of times to try and spread it out and break it up as much as I could. And we're going to call this done. This may have been borderline what we would call recreational tillage. It was just a little bit for fun. I mean, we did accomplish something, but yeah. Did we have to do this? Probably not. Is it helping? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But we're not going to plant anything here until May, so is it super necessary right now? kind of nice having a barn we can just pull right into. Anyway, we're gonna park this here for now. It can be unhooked now, and we can get the disc ripper hooked up. Not that we are ready to do any disc ripping, but it's coming quick, and we need to look that disc ripper over. We might need to make some repairs, do some maintenance to it, so we can get it hooked up and be ready to go. Plus, it's almost time to get some fertilizer in. I have booked our potassium fertilizer, and it has to be delivered by the end of September, which we're going to need it by then anyway. But yeah, we could get it brought in at any point. Got back from doing that little bit of tillage, and had to take Brayson to football practice. How many touchdowns did you score in practice?
3 or 4.
That awesome catch and an interception. He did a great job. I'm kind of sort of helping coach his team. I am helping Coach Ryland's team. So we get to do football this fall, it looks like. But anyway, we're going to head. I'm going to drop him off at home, and then we're going to go look at some corn. We need to go look at some of our 103-day corn that was planted in April, because I bet we're denting by now. 03 U08. I didn't look at the planting date. I should do that. But this is the spot where we pulled that corn plant out that we dissected way back the 1st of July. It's kind of been the earliest of the early planted corn. It wasn't the first planted corn, but it was an early planted, and it's an early variety. So it's the farthest along, basically. I'm seeing a little more disease out here than I like. Now we're getting sort of late. We'll check some ears here in a second, but let's see what we see. We see that. That's not good. That is northern corn leaf blight. You can see it started with a lesion here, and it has spread. There's another one. There's another one. I saw some. Where was that other leaf that had some? Oh, right here. We've got some. This one, it's on the tip of the leaf. Is it causing a huge amount of problems? No. But like anything in this leaf, even this green leaf tissue that's beyond where these lesions are, like that's cut off from the rest of the plant. So any photosynthesis taking place right here, those nutrients and sugars can't get through this dead spot to get back to the plant to get into the ear. Here's a big lesion. So that's why we don't like seeing that. If we look a little closer, here we can see a little bit of tar spot. That's pretty minor. And even the northern, we can see a fair bit of it. Nothing outrageous. Like it's not like the whole plants are dead here. So our fungicide worked. Now it's long gone, right? We're not having any activity from our fungicide that was sprayed over a month ago at this point, or a month ago anymore. But yeah, I think we held it off long enough. There's a tar spot. So it's coming. I am really glad that we sprayed. There's another one. And kept this stuff as clean as we did. So, all right, let's look at a few ears. First thing you'll notice on some of these is we have a short husk cover. Some of these ears, the grain is actually growing right out the end of the husks. There was some more back there, and so we can, it good or bad, not really a bad thing. It should help to dry down later if these husks sort of loosen up and allow some air movement in there. But you'll notice here where those kernels grow out, it opens it up to bugs. We get a lot of insect feeding on that, and so you kind of lose that tip. Now that is a girthy monster ear right there, so we're not going to complain about it, but it's something that I noticed. All right, let me peel a few back. Look at these, are impressive ears. Yeah, those will work. Those are impressive ears. All right, next, there's not a skip there. That's just solid, good plant spacing, picket fence stand type spot right here. Nice and even. First thing we notice, yeah, we're absolutely denting. You can see this little bit of a dent. So what that signifies, right? So our ears, our corn goes from pollination to the blister stage when the little kernels just start to grow, to the milk stage, which is like when you get a sweet corn type ear where the kernels have lots of juice in them and not a lot of starch yet, or at least not a lot of solid material, and they're still packing and developing that starch, packing it in there. Then we go to the dough stage when that milk sort of starts to solidify. It's still kind of doughy or gooey or whatever. And now we are denting and we're starting to solidify that starch. There's still a ton of moisture in these ears, but we're starting to turn it into solid starch. And I'm going to break one of these ears apart and show you something here in just a second. But for 3 years right in a row like that, I think that is really good, really promising. And I cannot believe how good this corn looks for as dry as we are right now. We've had very little rain for 2 months now, really. I mean, we have gotten some. I'm not saying that we've gotten no rain. We obviously have gotten some. But it's been dry. We've been on the edge of what I feel like is a disaster for a while. But we keep getting just enough to string us along. And there's a chance of rain tomorrow that might do it again. So we'll see. I see a leaf down here that has me concerned. No, okay. That just looked a little different. I didn't know what that was. But anyway, let's go back to our ears. I grabbed these ears. We're going to walk out of the field. We don't have to do the rest of this out here. Oh, look. This corn plant that's all by itself has 2 ears on it. That one's still not a great ear, but there are some kernels there. The guys on TikTok blasted me for saying corn only has 1 ear on it. And, I mean, that one has 2, but 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear. Heck, no ears on that one. I may have already stolen that one. That's funny. 1 ear, 1 ear, 1 ear. So, you know, that's just pretty much normal, the way it is. That is a 16 by 35 ear. It's not enormous, but that's solid. Especially for the planting population and what we had out there, I will take that. Now, so we know that we're dented, and maybe we're just beginning to dent, but let's break one of these in half and see if we can find what's called a milk line. Okay, so here is our broken half ear. If you look at the top half, right, this one here is the top half, and then we look at the end of the kernels, or the sides of them, we're looking for a defined line, and you can just barely, like on this kernel right here, see how on the very tip of it, it's much darker yellow than it is down here. That's the milk line. It is just starting, but essentially over the next several weeks, 2-3 weeks, that milk line is going to work from the end of the kernel where our dent is all the way down to the base of the kernel, solidifying that starch and turning it from milky, doughy consistency into a hard, starchy consistency, and the moisture just keeps coming out of it. Once that milk line reaches the base of the kernel, that's when it black layers. Black layer is what we consider physiological maturity. It's when this corn is done growing, and it will not put any more grain on, any more weight. But as of right now, all of this milky area in that kernel is still developing starch. It's still packing weight into these kernels. So it's going to be pretty hard right now to break one of those in half and really show it, but I might try. So right there is our kernel. You can kind of sort of see it. I don't know if I was to squeeze it. You can see at the bottom it's still very soft and milky. Come on. There's our kind of our germ of the new seedling. But the bottom here, you can see that juice coming out of there, and then the top gets more doughy, and then the very top of this kernel is hard and kind of starchy. So anyway, so why is that important? What is it? What's the significance of dent stage corn, which I believe we're at the R5 growth stage when it starts to dent. And, you know, what happens if the tar spot comes in and just kills this corn, or if we had gotten tar spot 3 weeks ago from not spraying any fungicide on it and our corn was already dying at this stage? What does that mean for a yield impact? Well, it's quite significant. 20% of a corn plant's dry matter is still brought into the plant after dent, after beginning dent, okay? Half of the dry matter in a corn plant is in the ears. Therefore, about 40% of our yield potential is still determined after this growth stage, or slightly before this growth stage, from the time it starts to dent on. So, if this corn plant just died as soon as it started to dent, and we had a 200 bushel corn crop out here, all of a sudden now it is 120 bushel corn crop. We lost 40%. Now, obviously that's not the case here, and we're going to gain a lot of that yet, but that's why it's important that we spray fungicides, we take care of these plants late in the season and keep packing that starch in there, giving it all the nutrients and the things that it needs, and why I still really, really want some rain, because we can still use it to help make this corn crop better. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, for example, I picked this ear. Was that just yesterday? I think this ear was just yesterday. It was beginning to dent, not quite as dented or as many kernels dented as I dropped it as the ones that we just did. But in 24 hours, you can see that there's more space in between the kernels. It's drying up. They're shriveling up. They're getting really loose. It's going to get really chaffy, and these kernels, as they dry out, there's going to be a lot of space in between them because it didn't finish filling out. That's what I mean when I say that we're still packing starch in there and we're still developing those kernels. If you were to pick them now, the kernels are going to shrivel up because there's so much moisture in them and stuff, and they're just not going to retain their size because of all the moisture leaving. So anyway, it's important that we stay on top of our corn and keep pushing it along, and that it's not dead when we start denting. The closer and closer we get to physiological maturity, to that black layer, the less yield loss potential that there is from our corn dying of disease, or even like a hailstorm or whatever else. Now, hail, if it knocked the plants down, obviously that's a whole nother issue. But stripping the leaves off, that kind of stuff, would still be devastating. Well, I forgot to wrap this one up earlier, so I hope you enjoyed that little agronomy lesson. Hey, if you guys like this agronomy type of stuff, my buddy Wade Looker, he's my Golden Harvest agronomist. He has started kind of his own YouTube channel and is putting out great agronomy content. So go give him a follow. I think it's Wade Looker Agronomy is his YouTube channel. I'll try and remember to link it in the description of this video. But yeah, he does a great job, so wanted to share that. And he's the one who kind of helps me with a lot of these when I have questions, you know, like that dry matter. I knew it was significant, but I wasn't exactly sure what those numbers were. So I'm like, hey, Wade, what's this number? So anyway, that's where that comes from. But thanks for watching today. We'll be back out here tomorrow, get at least that next section of steel put up, and hopefully get some of the second one done, or at least be ready to put some more steel up. We'll see how that goes. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to like the video, and we will see you again tomorrow. Have a great night.